And welcome back to this Friday edition of Hannity. And we are back now with more of my interview with former Alaska Governor Sarah Palin. Now, I asked for her thoughts on the House Budget Chairman Paul Ryan's plan to save Medicare and much more. Take a look. I want to get your thoughts on Ryan's plan.
I have great respect for Representative Ryan producing what it is that he produced to save Medicare. It is the Republicans who want to save that safety net for our esteemed elders, and we cannot let the mainstream media manipulate this issue and dictate really what they want people to believe this Medicare reform program in order to save it of Representative Ryan's is. Now, I heard Pelosi saying, she outright lied, saying, well, the Republicans, they want to do away with Medicare as we know it. No, it's the Democrats who are going to do away with Medicare as we know it. They're going to dissolve Medicare because we are going to be bankrupt. There will be nothing for recipients to receive. We will have no money. So what Paul Ryan wants to do is reform it, change some of the rules, and allow that safety net to continue. It's an outright lie of Nancy Pelosi's for her to be telling the American public that it's the Republicans who want to leave seniors out there on their own trying to figure out health care themselves. And it's the media, too, complicit in what it is that Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats are trying to convince people is behind this Medicare reform that we need.
Well, it seems that that's the Democratic talking point. They're back to Mediscare, scaring old people. That's why they're so upset with the whole Anthony Weiner issue this week, because it took away precious days for them to go out and scare seniors on an issue. The president himself did this, Governor. The president said that children with autism, Down syndrome, and old people, quote, will have to fend for themselves. That's not true, because the person that cut Medicare by $500 billion was President Obama to institute,
right,
Obamacare. And how do Republicans... And we're going to get back to this third-party issue in a second, but how do Republicans fight back against the lies, distortions, demagoguery, misinformation? What advice do you give them? How do they counter this, which effectively has worked in the past?
We tell the truth. And the truth is that President Obama is lying. He's not just misstating. He's not just misconstruing some facts or some data and information. No, he's lying when he says that those with Down syndrome, those with autism, those who need that safety net will be left on their own if the Republicans have their way. That is not true. We really need, time is so short, Sean. We have got to turn things around very, very quickly. So when we face an issue that we're facing today where lies are coming out of the Democrat Party and coming from the media, trying to make it sound like the GOP wants to dismantle Medicare when it is President Obama who has cut the $500 from the Medicare program, we have got to call him on this. We've got to hold him accountable. Time is short. We don't have the time. We don't have the resources to waste and fool around being anything but candid with the American people.
Yeah. Let me go back to the issue of this third party for just a second here. You said a year ago you would have said, no way, don't do it to Donald Trump. Yeah. But you seem to be saying that you wouldn't say that today, and that the Republicans, by not being more proactive, standing a little stronger on their principles, may be creating the environment for this to happen. If Donald Trump was running third party, would you consider supporting him?
Again, I still want to have that hope in the GOP that they're going to stand strong and that there will be that very aggressive attempt and success in letting Americans know that we can do better and we don't have to settle for the Obama, Reid, and still Pelosi agenda that's part of Washington. I still have faith in the Republican Party that we can get this together. What I mean, Sean, by conditions changing over the year has been a result of that midterm election and seeing that Tea Party movement, independent Americans, bringing in new people there to represent us in Congress, and yet still not seeing the transitional change that needs to take place in Washington as a result of new people coming in. That's been a disappointment. I still have hope, though, that we can turn things around and we can get it together so a third party wouldn't be necessary.
Yeah, Governor, when I last spoke to you about whether or not you're considering a run for the presidency, your answer to me was you want to see how this field unfolds. If at a late date, the person, the people maybe at the top of the list they don't really have the values that you have. If you don't think they're capable, would you ever consider running third party in this election cycle?
I don't foresee that right now, and I do see people in the field today and those who are potential candidates still contemplating whether to run or not. I see that shared value that we all have when it comes to doing the right things to get the economy back on the right track, Sean. But what I would fear is that some of these candidates, especially in a good position to progress through a primary and meet Obama in the general, I fear that they're not going to be aggressive enough, that they're not going to lay it all on the line and be perfectly honest with the public and let the public know our country's going broke. We can't keep going down the road that we're going on. I fear a little bit that there's going to be some political correctness and some hesitancy and some attempt to not offend anybody, so less of the candidness that we're going to need. I see shared values in the candidates running for the Republican nomination, but I do fear that some of these folks are going to think that they need to kind of play it a little bit safe, and that's not what this country needs today. We need a fundamental restoration of what's good about America, and that's going to take an aggressive fight, a fight against the Democrat Party that wants to take over the private sector. So we need to make sure that it's not just values shared, but it's going to be some pragmatic things that have to take place, some practical aspects of a campaign that have to be considered. We're going to need a fighter in there.
And coming up, we'll have much more.